In today's video, setting up Spider-Man using McFarlane artwork for your toy photography.
When it comes to action figure photography, we can do anything with anybody. I could record whatever video showing you how to do running, how to do punching, jumping, kicking, all the things, but once in a while, a character comes along that absolutely defies the ways that humans are supposed to move, and it's all thanks to this man, Todd McFarlane, whose artwork showed us that the good Mr. Peter Parker didn't have to move like the rest of us mere mortals. So in this video, and under somewhat freaky lighting circumstances, I'm going to take 3 images I found of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man artwork and put this Medicom MAFEX number 185 comic-style Spider-Man in the poses from said artwork. At least I'm going to come close, because 1, it is still a plastic toy as much as I love it, and 2, once in a while, Toddy Mac might have added a few joints to the old human anatomy.
Totally getting fancy with this first one.
Okay, there you go. That's the first one I'm going to try to emulate with this Spidey figure, so I'm going to get to it. Okay, first things first, and one of the reasons I love pretty much everything Medicom MAFEX does is because of the extra hands. Oops, well, one just shot across, but I'm going to replace the hands that Spidey currently has, and then we'll get going. All right, with the hands replaced, it's time to get to posing. All right, bear with me as the tracking might get a little funky here as we're doing this. I'm looking at the picture. We have a totally straight arm going here. Going a little, not quite across the body, but a little bit. This head, it looks kind of buried, and we're not going to be, well, hang on. This is one of those things that I love about MAFEX. It can pull off a lot of this stuff. Now, another line that is really helpful for this kind of thing is Amazing Yamaguchi as far as posing. You don't get quite the same comic look, but you do get a lot of the articulation. So I'd argue Amazing Yamaguchi, if you really want the articulation, might actually be an even better figure than this Spidey when it comes to this stuff. Now, I'm seeing on the picture, as I'm going through, a little bit of a problem. His fingers on the image stick straight out, and there's no joints on these hands. His fingers on the thwips over here stick straight out, and there's no way to make that happen on these hands. So, okay, we've got our first limitation. But I'm going to keep, and I got to quit saying we. What do you think, guys? Should I stop with the whole royal we? Okay. We're pretty good there. I'm pretty good there. And I say it, and then I hose myself. All right. Now we're going to kick this leg up. We can pull on this joint a little bit. And remember, the whole purpose of doing this stuff, Toy Picks, is all about the photography aspect of everything. And so it's tough to come up with ways to pose Spider-Man that are truly really cool unless you're using a lot of this reference material from somebody like Todd McFarlane. Mark Bagley, I think, did a great job with him as well. So we can get this leg under here. I don't see that foot, so we're going to kind of hide it there a little bit. Now, we've got all this. The problem now that I'm seeing is I can't quite get him any more forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat with the legs a little bit and bring them up as high as I can to kind of give that little fake look. Fake look. Real look, just fake pose, sort of. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's pretty close. I'm going to try one more thing just because he's got this. It doesn't necessarily show this in the image, but I put on the kind of hand that makes it so I can do this. So, come on, web, get in there. So, there you go. You can just set up the web however you want. Woo! And we have a posed-up Spider-Man. Use this kind of pose for all your action figure photography needs because, again, Spidey, he needs these crazy poses for your figure photography. So, if you're going to do it, you might as well look up McFarlane stuff, or until maybe you get so good copying McFarlane stuff that you can just come up with this stuff on your own. I'm not there yet. So there you go. Pose numero uno.
Ooh boy, and I thought that first pose was nuts.
That was pose number 2. I already swapped out the hands. Let's hit it. Or at least come close. Okay, looking at the image right now, he's going to be way hunched forward. MAFEX has these little drop-down hips that seem to work okay with MAFEX for a lot of lines. They can be a little funky, but that's all right. The other lines are trying, and, well, that's cool. Someday, everybody's going to have just awesomely articulated action figures, and I won't have to be this ultra-picky guy who just collects certain lines because everybody's going to be awesome. At least, that's the dream. So here we go. Here I go. Good Lord, Dave. Stop it. Okay, so there's a little bit of a turn that you can do at the hip joint when it comes to MAFEX figures. I never want to put my finger there again. But you can see you can get a bit of a turn. I know a lot of people don't like that there's no thigh twist, but you can still make it work. So I don't want to hear it. Now we've got him all hunched forward here. I'm going to continue to try and cheat a little bit on this pose. Just because it's not going to be perfect if I don't. Now, this arm is back here. Kind of looks like it'll end up being fairly straight up and down. Okay, so I've got that going. I want to change its head angle just ever so slightly. That's a little more what I'm after for this picture. Man, McFarlane really bent these things forward. Whose idea was it to make this video? It was mine. I can't fault anybody else. This was all on me. So here I go with this. This hand is going to be angled a little bit this way and up just a touch. There we go. There I go. Look, how many times, here's a game, guys. Comment in the comments and let me know how many times I said we when I should have said I. Or is it only annoying to me and you guys are just sitting here like, Dave, it's really not that big a deal. Just, let me know. Okay. This hand is being more of a pain than I want it to be. There I go. Okay. I just needed that big bend. Now we've got that big bend. I've got that big bend. Oh boy. Any English teachers listening, just turn away now. So here's that. And I'm sure I probably made plenty of other English mistakes going through here too. They're going, no, the we is the least of your problems, Photo Dave. I'm going to kick this arm back a little more. The head is difficult to line up properly, like for what this pose needs to be. Now I've gotten everything except his right leg. And it looks like that's kicked up a bit this way. And I'll need to turn it ever so slightly and stick the foot out. And I think that's about, let me double check here. No. This arm needs to come up some. All right, here we go. So this is basically a little bit of a tutorial on how to use McFarlane reference when it comes to posing your Spideys. Because it is difficult to come up with really cool poses for Spidey. And McFarlane, he did it in the 80s and the 90s. He's like, oh no, I got this. You guys are good. You don't even need to worry about it. Don't worry about it, guys. I got you. Try and do this a little more. This is me just being hyper anal about all of it. But yeah, I think right about there, we've pretty much got it. Now, I know that some of you are watching and going, okay, great Photo Dave, but what do you do with it once you've got it in a pose? Because you can't just sit them on the ground. There are a lot of people that have made stands such as these so that you can kind of sit them on here. So I'm not going to do that for the camera, but you kind of fudge them in there, you get them to balance, and all ends up being kosher. So look for those stands. I'm not exactly sure who all's making them. I know that the one that I just showed you was from a place called Ashen Lake Customs, but it was several years ago. I don't even know if they're still around. What I do know, though, is I came really close to this pose. But that McFarlane, he's so sneaky with everything. All right, on to pose number 3.
There are no words.
Oh, did you guys see that? I gotta do that? Well, okay. As I did for the last couple, I've already switched out his hands, so let's get to posing. Gulp. Okay, here we go. He is really lunged forward in this one, so I'll use the ball joint at the waist, I'll use whatever joint's going on at the diaphragm. It might be a double ball, it might be a single ball. I think it's a double ball, actually, just the way it works. Anyway, that's getting really nerdy about things. Now, this arm is back here. Don't you love, guys? Just keep watching, as I show you how to use reference images. But this is something that I had to do a lot of in high school art class. It's something I had to do a lot of when it came to drawing in college. That's right, my degree was in painting and drawing because practicality. So, got all this going on. This hand looks like it's over this way a little bit. Telling you, who needs anatomy? I love how contorted McFarlane always made Spider-Man. It was, I sound like I'm sitting here making fun of it. I absolutely adore the style that he put into these drawings. It's kind of, how way back when people will talk about how great Jack Kirby is? Well, Todd had his own thing going too. There was just this crazy dynamism involved in his stuff. I love it. Okay. This foot looks like maybe it's down just a touch. But the legs, I'm going to bring the leg up just a little bit. Okay, and the reason I did that there is kind of to try and fudge the angle ever so slightly. Now, I'm going to be kind of crazy when it comes to the ball joints here. The ball joints at the hips, so if something pops off, it's okay. It's another one of those things I'm good with when it comes to MAFEX. They have joints that, it's not that you want them to pop off, but they are designed in such a way where they're probably not going to break. They're probably just going to pop off. So, in case something happens, I wanted to get that preemptive in there. But there's not much here. Okay. Hit that a little bit more. Yay, computer. Need to, like I said, I've got the computer off to the side that I'm using as my own reference. Looks like, oops. And here we go. That wasn't even the hip joint. That was the peg at the foot. But again, MAFEX is designed for that to slide right in, when you're just doing it and not on camera. There you go. Popped right back in. So, but now I've got the foot all good and twisted up. Because I had it wrong. There we go. Okay. Now we're getting back to where it needs to be. You guys are getting all kinds of crazy little shots of Spidey as I try to figure this out, aren't you? This is a far more challenging thing than I thought it was going to be, I have to say. I'm a little surprised. By how tough this is. But again, I think if you really want the contorted poses, I think Amazing Yamaguchi might be a really good bet. The only thing about Amazing Yamaguchi is it doesn't look quite as comic accurate, and sometimes the joints, from what I've heard from people, sometimes the joints are a little tough to take because you see them really easily. But I'm not going to lie, I want to try out some Amazing Yamaguchi just to see what happens. I think they look like really good figures. So here we go. Here I go. And I think, I mean, it's definitely not perfect because I can't get this leg to do what I want. Hold on, maybe if I do this with the foot a little bit. Let's go out a little more. That's a little better. This is just me being totally anal about trying to get this just right. Because, hey man, trying to copy McFarlane's style, that's a tricky kind of thing, especially with plastic, where the plastic runs into everything and doesn't really allow a whole lot of movement. But, plus side, I think I came pretty close. So what you would do now is you'd take him in any of these poses, you'd throw him in an image, and you'd have him throwing down with Venom, or fighting alongside the X-Men, or just fighting somebody that doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all. Maybe put him against the giant, Krang that's coming out from NECA soon. There you go. I could see that. Spidey versus Krang. Somehow, that makes sense in my head. Now, before I go here, I do want to try, let's see. It looks like that hand, yeah. I'm going to put this web back in this hand just to give it that little extra, or am I? Stinking camera, there we go. Guys, seriously, if you've never tried to record a video while doing this stuff, it's weird how much different it is. But there we go. Now I've got the web in there. So, enjoy, man. Go out there, have some fun, put your Spideys into some McFarlane poses, because man oh man, it really is going to set off that toy photography.
And that's that, folks. Let me know, did you find this video helpful for your own toy photography needs? And hey, by the way, that Spider-Man is in the video description, so if you need him, click one of those affiliate links, go get him. He's rad. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have used him in the video. Also, don't forget that on Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Toy Picks is live on the Toy Picks YouTube channel. Oh, and hey, I'm doing a lot of walking outside because I'm not one of those LA people who get sun year-round. No, friends, I live in Michigan, which means I get sun about 1/10 of the year. Okay, slight exaggeration, but really, we don't get a whole lot. Anyway, that's what I got for this, so have fun. And happy snapping. See ya.